Welcome to Blue Talks.
Oh, Northwestern University. It's good to be back. So, I am going to give you 30 seconds to describe everything in your surroundings. And I can see your reactions. Oh my gosh, that feels overwhelming, right? Okay, fine. What if I were to give you a minute? Better? An hour? A year? How long would it take for you to paint the entire picture of everything you have in your current experience of reality? Haha, right? So, when we think about it, it is actually impossible. The reality around us is infinite. And yet somehow, our minds are so brilliant that we're able to move through day by day, on most days feeling fairly unfazed by all of this existence. Why is that? Well, our minds are brilliant, A, and B, we're very good at creating the picture and then using the rest of our lives to confirm that picture to be true. It's called confirmation bias, right? Cool. Well, what happens if you don't like the picture that you're living? Well, most of us will just say, oh, this is just my life. This is just how the world works. This is just how this is going to be. And for whatever reason, my whole life, I've challenged that because my circumstances weren't great. And it didn't make any sense to just comply and say, well, things just will suck for the entirety of my life. And I didn't have the wherewithal to change, my resume, so to speak, to be able to have my life look different. And yet I was always seeking people who can help me break my ceiling of what I thought was possible, of the reality that I had formed, and was constantly somehow confirming for myself. And so I was running a business at the time and was charging a very unlivable wage as a photographer. And it looked like $50. Oh, actually, no, it was $35 per image. And then I raised my prices. Oh, it was so terrifying. I raised my prices to $50 for an image and heard some of the worst feedback of my life. I was called names. I was told to go do things because I was a horrible person who was taking advantage of people. Okay. Well, that's a reality. What else is out there? Because that doesn't seem quite right. And I need to, have food on the table, shelter's nice. And so I was lucky enough to find a coach who at the time was charging, a couple of zeros above what I was and, challenged what I thought was possible and said, look, what would happen if you were to charge, let's say, not $50, but $250 for an image? And I'm like, oh, that is impossible. No one will pay for that. No one will. Are you for a photographer? Not in my area. And she goes, okay, cool. Let me ask you a couple questions. Do you have an Apple store in your area? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's actually 5 minutes away. She goes, okay. Do you guys have high-end dealerships? And I'm like, oh yeah, we have, let's see, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. There's that one down the road. She's like, okay. What about private colleges? And I'm like, oh yeah, we have one, a couple of friends of mine went there. Cool. She's like, I don't have any of those. And I have clients that charge $10,000, that pay me $10,000 for my photos in my area. And I'm like, okay. So it's clearly not the area, but clearly you're a better photographer than I am because $10,000, I'm charging $50 and people are telling me how horrible of a person I am. And she goes, well, okay, sure, you can believe that, but what if? That's the question. What if? I remember at the same time there was a woman I met and she goes, look, the way to think about this is you are in a dark room and you're wandering around and stumbling and falling over things, and you can't see. And somebody's giving you instructions. And you can choose to follow those instructions, or you can choose to keep stumbling around in the dark. And what happens is, she said, my experience of this is I followed the instructions and I got to the door, and I knew I got to the door because there was a handle, and I pulled on the handle and there was light. And all of a sudden I saw. And she goes, it wasn't until I got to that door and opened it that I actually realized what was possible. So at that point, you just kind of have to trust, see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? I said, okay. And so followed the model. My very first client, got them in the studio, photographed them, and I was getting ready for the sales conversation. And I remember for a good, and I'm not kidding you, for an entire hour, I paced my house. I felt like I was going to throw up. Like I was physically ill. And I was pacing going, I can't speak these numbers out loud. And they have you, she, as my sales coach, she goes, you have to start with the highest number first. So I had to go and say, hi, if you want all of these images, it'll be $38.90. I couldn't even fathom what that would look like if she were to write me that check. And yet, that is what I was supposed to say. So they come in, they look at the photos, they're crying, they're having all the emotions, the photos are beautiful, they love them. And when they're done processing, I go, if you'd like to take all of these home, that'll be $38.90. Because I realized if I were to get in my emotions, that'll be about me, and this moment is not about me, it has nothing to do with me. I'll deal with my stuff later in therapy. Got that covered. And then you're supposed to wait, right? So you're supposed to wait. So very uncomfortable. And then just stop talking. And she goes, they talked for a minute, and they go back and they go, well, how much is the next package down? $28.90. Okay. And they wrote the check, handed me the check, and went home. Couldn't believe it. I was like, this is absurd. This is crazy. People this is a real check. Settling down for the night, my phone went off. I had an email from her. And, confirmation bias goes, you know what this is, Masha. You know fully well what this is. This is the message that tells you how horrible of a person you are and that I want my money back. And in that moment, I made a choice to say, that is a possibility, and that has been my reality for the entirety of my life. But today, I get to choose differently. What she says in that email doesn't matter. My reality is going to look different. I have made that choice. I'm not going back. Been there, done that. No, thank you. And I open that email, and she says, Masha, I am so sorry. Heart sinks, right? And she goes, my husband and I have talked. Oh, God, it's coming. Okay, nope. I know they love those images. I know they want those images. And she goes, Masha, I'm so sorry. I know we went with the middle package, but we thought about it and we want all the photos. Can I send you the difference? And let me tell you something. That set something off in me that shifted. And I'm like, whew, what else can I do? And I started making my entire life about breaking these boundaries. I go out and I seek them out, and any opportunity I have, anytime that little feeling, that little voice comes up and tells me that I can't, or something cannot be done, or something is, oh God, impossible. I'm like, yes, that. What is that? Tell me. I'm going to go and do it. Or I'm going to inspire somebody else to go and do it, because guess what? When you are able to decide that this is what's happening, you just work backwards and you make a plan. And you go and you do that. And the only thing that stands in the way is you. And you do the work and you get through that. And what's on the other side is the impossible. The things that I've been able to accomplish because of this. If you look on paper, if you were just simply to write my life in a resume and measure what Masha has now to what Masha had prior to all of this quote unquote random magic happening, seems impossible. And yet here I am. And I want to have you think, what if? That's all you have to do, is what if you were to choose differently? What if the things you were paying attention to in your reality were the things that you chose, not fell victim to? Thank you.